Hey, Chris Spicher for AV Nice. This morning in April, we're on the boulevard and we're remembering the last of the Doolittle Airmen, the Raiders. Dick Cole, Richard Cole, has passed away, 103. He's the last of the 80 men that served so valiantly in World War II. Our friend Bob Alvis put together a remembrance today, put it on Facebook, and he called me. He said, hey, make sure AV Nice is there. So we put some flowers at General Doolittle's marker and also his mural here. We invited the community. We had some friends come out, and even the son of one of the members of the Doolittle crew came, which was a big moment, historical moment. So we're on Lancaster Boulevard, remembering our heroes and our veterans, and our legacy, and enjoying the morning, enjoying our freedom. Chris Spicher for AV Nice. Lancaster Boulevard. Does it get any better?
On a beautiful day like this, look at this weather. Classic.
With our wingnut Air Force veteran, Bob Alvis, historian. And today, we're talking about General Jimmy Doolittle.
Absolutely. Jimmy Doolittle has a very storied history here in our own community in the Antelope Valley. Very tied in with Muroc Army Air Corps Base, World War II, the Edwards, the flight test years, became really kind of an iconic figure around the valley. And Jimmy Doolittle has walked this boulevard many a time with many test pilots and notables of the aviation community from the Antelope Valley here. And Jimmy Doolittle's mural, the original one here, was the very first inductee to the original class of the pilots that were remembered here on Lancaster Boulevard with the Aerospace Walk of Honor. So, yeah, it's a special day, and we're here today to remember the last Doolittle Raider who passed away last week. Dick Cole, at 103 years old, was the last survivor of the 80 men who flew that famous mission on April 18th, 1942. To send a message to the Japanese that they are not safe. You are within the striking distance of America, and most important out of that mission, which it wasn't really a mission that did any major damage or anything like that it was to uplift the spirit of America, because we've been hit hard and we were reeling, and American citizens needed something to pick up their spirits, and that strike against Japan by the Doolittle Raiders, those 80 brave men led by General Doolittle, who, by the way, General Doolittle did not have to fly in that mission. He volunteered. He said, these men, if they're willing to do this, I will lead them on that mission. And for his stature at that time, that was a pretty bold statement.
And those were the men who realized they didn't have enough fuel to land correctly.
Yeah, they were taking a chance as they were, of course, the story is, people that know that they took off from an aircraft carrier, and B-25s were not made to take off from an aircraft carrier.
No folding wings.
No folding wings, and yet they weren't going to come back and they weren't going to land on an aircraft carrier. So after they dropped their payloads on Japan, they were to fly to China, and they were to land in China, and they would be brought back there. Well, as the story goes, Japanese fishing boat actually saw them before they were going to launch too far out, and so it put everything into jeopardy because they didn't know if they had enough fuel to go that distance, and so they took off early, and a lot of those guys ended up in the drink, before they even hit China. And then those where they were going to land, unfortunately, the planes had to land sporadically throughout China because they became lost and things like that. And we lost some of our men over in China, and some became prisoners of war, the Japanese over there, and a lot of them still made it back home. So it was one of those stories that will always ring loudly in Americana and the history of this country, and what men were willing to do on behalf of the citizens of the United States and of the world. Let's smooth it over. World War II and America's involvement in World War II was the turning point of was the world going to be a free, whether the United States was going to be a free country, or were we going to live under oppression. So, and Jimmy Doolittle on that April 18th raid was, I think, the beginning of that message being sent, that we are America, we're going to be a free country, and we're going to defend those in the world and stuff that are oppressed.
Today we're remembering our heroes and we're remembering our history.
Amen to that. And the last goblet has been overturned at Dayton, as the last Doolittle Raider, Lieutenant Colonel Richard Cole, has passed away. And we remember his sacrifice, and he was Jimmy Doolittle's co-pilot on that mission. And it's a sad part of we say goodbye to these great men, but we always have their legacy.
Today we remember, and that's A.B. Nice.
I am a member of the Antelope Valley Blue Star Mothers. I'm Ida Ketchum, and it's been my honor to pass out many of these little folded flags to our troops. And I thought it was only appropriate that today the folks would receive a folded flag, which they normally would get at their funeral. So I thought it would be an honor to present that here.
Hi, I'm Bob Alvis. I was the guy that kind of organized this get-together in honor of the Doolittle Raiders, and you never know where something's going to go. And as we're standing here, this gentleman walks up here and just drops bombs like your dad did on the whole proceedings. What's your name?
I'm David Watson.
David Watson, and I'm Bob.
Pleased to meet you, Bob.
Good to meet you. And if you want to hear that drop mic moment, your dad was
pilot of plane number 9
on the Doolittle Raid,
April 18th, 1942.
Wow. And your dad.
Yep.
Your dad flew that mission. I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say, because such an important part of Americana, American history.
Yes.
The honor. I have a billion questions to ask you, but I just don't. I'm just kind of taken by it. Your dad, did you live here in the Antelope Valley, or
Yes.
how'd you end up here? Your dad was here? And,
Yes, he was.
And he knew Jimmy Doolittle?
Oh, he did indeed. I did too.
You did?
Mama Joe, the whole family.
Yeah. Richard Cole, which was...
I knew Dick Cole too.
Yeah. Wow. And
he's the last one.
he's the last one, and he passed. And we're so happy that you brought you and is this your wife here?
Yes.
Your name
That's
was
Kathy.
Yeah, for coming down and joining us here. You've just absolutely put the exclamation mark on this morning's events, and to think that we're so close to that day when your dad pushed those throttles forward on the Hornet and lifted off and headed for... Can you tell us a little bit about he took off, and was he the one? Did he make it to China? Did he end up crashing into the ocean? Can you tell us a little bit about how that played out?
Well, he bombed Tokyo,
Yes.
and then he made it the farthest into China,
Okay.
and they bailed out in a storm. He got his right arm caught in the ripcords as he was going down, and they made it. The entire crew survived,
Okay.
and they were helped by the Chinese, and they got back.
Wow. And when he came back, your dad was a hero when he came back, but we were at war still, so...
Oh, yes.
And he probably continued to serve, correct?
He did.
And what did he do the rest of the war? I mean...
Well, of course, they all helped in the war effort with the raising the interest of the American people and what happened.
Right.
And he continued as a pilot. He became a transport pilot, and he retired in early 60s at George Air Force Base.
George Air Force Base. Now he's really good, because I served at George Air Force Base for 4 years. What years was he at George?
59 through
Yeah.
about 72.
Oh yeah, he left just before I got anymore. So, but how cool is that? And he moved over here.
He moved to Inglewood.
Inglewood. I got you. Okay. Well, very good. So, I'm just beyond words. I don't know what to say. I'm looking at Chris there, and I'm going at Bill Warford, and I'm going,
his phone number.
yeah, I need to get his phone number. I'd love to chat with you sometime.
We can do that.
I would love to. And you live here locally?
Yes, we do. We live in Palmdale.
Palmdale. Amazing. We've got the son of the pilot of Plane 9. Your dad's name again?
Harold F. Watson.
Harold F. Watson. By the way, did he probably obviously went back for the Doolittle reunions?
Yes.
Back in Dayton?
Yes.
Back there? And it's a question I have, when did he pass?
1991.
91, so he's been gone for
Oh, yes,
a
he
while.
has.
So, but one of the original 80 men.
Yes, he was.
And so I, on behalf of a grateful nation, and for your family legacy, and for you, especially for your dad, we thank you so much.
I would like to say one thing, that so many of the young people today have no idea
Yes.
of what they did in that raid, but also the wonderful men and women that fought that war.
Yeah, absolutely.
What they did and the meaning of it. It doesn't seem to mean anything to them. They just don't teach it in our schools anymore, and I just hope we could do something to get people to understand the significance of these things.
Thank you for that.
Thank you
true.
for having me.
All right. I'm out.